From our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Peter Murphy begins now.
Good evening. The election campaign may be over, but that hasn't stopped the major parties from trading blows as the count continues. The government called on today to release the Marinus Link business case as the Liberals raised the alarm once again over an alleged Labor Green Deal.
It's been 11 years since Tasmania has seen a Labor Green government. But going off recent commentary, you'd be forgiven for thinking it was yesterday.
This Labor Green Deal would be a disaster for Tasmania.
The Liberals renewing their calls for Dean Winter to concede the election, despite them having the first opportunity to ensure confidence and supply from the crossbench.
All of that could be overturned if Labor and the Greens do a dodgy deal to snatch government.
The opposition maintaining its pledge to not do deals, instead emphasising a collaborative approach.
If Jeremy Rockcliffe is unable to bring together 18 votes in the Parliament, we stand ready to work collaboratively across the Parliament.
The Liberals too say they've had productive conversations with the crossbench, as Labor asserts they're stalling on Marinus Link, alleging that non-government members have been left waiting on a business case briefing for the $5 billion project.
The question is, what are they hiding? What is in this business case that they don't want Tasmanians or Tasmanian Labor to know?
The Liberals promising to deliver the report soon as negotiations continue.
We need to ensure that those negotiations are carried out in a proper way that puts the best interests of Tasmania first.
Vowing to release all relevant information to the public once a decision is made. Aaron Smith, 7 Tasmania News.
There's been a third fatality on our roads in just over 24 hours. A person died after a vehicle was struck by a tree on Wilmot Road at 4th at around 1 o'clock this afternoon. It came after a man lost his life last night. Emergency services were called to Roger River at midday yesterday where a Ford Ranger had collided with a tree. The 17-year-old driver later died from his injuries just hours after another crash claimed a passenger's life in Mersey-Lee. The state's road toll now stands at 30, double the fatalities from the same time last year. 3 years after losing their only rink, more than 400 Tasmanian ice skaters are still without a place to train, compete or grow the sport. A temporary pop-up offering, a glimmer of hope, but that's melting fast, leaving Tasmania as the sole state without a dedicated home to ice sports.
For the past 6 weeks, MyState Bank Arena has been a winter wonderland, the only rink in Tasmania and a temporary one.
I just like doing tricks and making friends, and it makes me feel belong.
I love how much fun it is, and also I feel like gliding on the ice is very peaceful.
But come tomorrow, the rink will shut, the ice will vanish, and with it, a place for Tasmania's skaters to train, compete, forced to fly interstate.
It's money as well, and you don't really get much training time. We only stay there for a few days, then we have to come back. It's really hard in Melbourne.
With skaters having to travel to compete and to train, families are being broken and split to be able to afford that.
And it's not just the logistics, there are real fears for the skaters' mental health and well-being.
We measured the psychological impact of the rink closing 3 years ago. We know that was catastrophic for a number of people in Tasmania, not just athletes but general community. And so we're very, very concerned about the impact this will have.
Back in October 2023, the state government commissioned a feasibility study into the future of ice sports in Tasmania. The report, delivered in June last year, confirmed the need for a permanent facility, but since then the project's been on ice. In a statement to 7 Tasmania News, Liberal MLC Nick Duigan says he's been pushing for a co-investment model involving the federal government to help unlock private funding for the project they say will cost $40 million.
Community want and need this as a resource, and we really want to see this a commitment that gives a clear view of when will this rink be available back to us on our local ground.
And for a community that once boasted more than 400 members, the numbers are slipping, the ice is melting and time is running out. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
More than 30 environmental groups have sent a strong message to Tasmania's next government. They've got 10 demands, including ending native forest logging and salmon farming, that they insist should be a priority when Parliament returns.
A rainy Tasmanian winter day wasn't enough to stop these calls for change.
What we need is for the new Tasmanian government to do their job and to take urgent action on the environmental and climate crisis.
A letter penned by 31 environment groups making local headlines today, insisting the next leading government, whoever that turns out to be, enact a long-term strategy for Tasmania's environment.
The letter demonstrates broad support from across Tasmania for the issues that we've highlighted, issues like real action on climate change, ending native forest logging.
But native forest logging and other demands like an end to salmon farming remain key industries that both major parties support.
We support native forestry, we support renewables, we support mining, we support aquaculture.
We need to get the balance right, and that's exactly what our native forest sector does.
But this group still have faith that independents like Peter George, Christy Johnston and Craig Garland may be able to persuade them otherwise.
There are no jobs on a dead planet. It's so important to recognise that there is a future when you protect landscapes, when you end native forest logging and when you look after our waterways.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Winter might be one of the toughest times of the year for Tasmania's tourism industry, but this year it's going the extra mile to ensure travellers stay here. An expo introducing travellers to everything from local wines to cruises to our beloved Tassie Devil.
Forget Euro summer, these traders are calling on locals to have a Tassie winter.
Well, because we're here, but we don't even know half the stuff that's around.
The Tasmanian Tourism Showcase opening up to the public at Princess Wharf 1. Thousands of visitors interacting with over 80 operators from every corner of the island, highlighting a wide range of products and experiences.
So we've got pretty much everything here. We've got accommodation, we've got attractions, we've got distilleries, we've got vineyards, we've got a couple of alpacas.
Giving locals an idea of how they can spend their next Tassie staycation.
They will then tell their friends and family, they will tell visitors from interstate where to go. So we create these wonderful Tasmanian advocates.
It's also an opportunity for industry veterans to build their network.
I've been walking around getting publicity from the other stands and lots of other people.
Perhaps our most well-known marsupial and rumman proving popular.
Where else can you go in the world where you can see animals like the Tasmanian devil?
While the winter can traditionally be a difficult time for the tourism industry, operators are hopeful events like this can keep tourists coming back.
Pubs are always open and, you know, they're nice and warm at this time of the year.
Operators had a clear message.
See what's in our own backyard, check it out and get amongst it.
Billy Gibbons, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, many people feel the biggest question in Tasmania this weekend is the wash-up from last week's state election. But I've been told it's who'll be crowned grand champion bird of the Royal Hobart Show. From pigeons to pint-sized chooks, Tasmania's top birds are out to ruffle some rivals.
A poultry pageant in full flight as the chicken, pigeon and canary judging kicks off the Hobart Show a couple months early.
This year we've got more exhibitors than we had last year, so there's an increase there, which is really good. The participation is excellent.
And with the weather making you want to duck for cover, inside there was a hunt for Tassie's top-tier chook, but deciding the pecking order no easy feat for the judges.
And they're quite unique in that each feather should have 3 dots on it, which this one has. Big dot and 2 little ones.
Trying to get them to stand and make sure their feather is tight. These are only young birds, so they shouldn't have any creases at all.
But to my disappointment, most of the birds were nameless. So naturally, I took matters into my own hands. Hen Stefani, first place. How are you feeling? Quack Sparrow, were you robbed of a prize today? There are more than 800 birds here, all under one roof, chirping for a chance at state glory. But for my friend here, Cluck Norris, he just missed out on first prize. Cluck, how do you feel about that? The fame clearly getting to Cluck, who was simply lost for words. But for the rest of the coop, there was nothing short of feathers, fluff and fierce competition. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmanian News.
Locally now, in today's match against the Blues meant much more for North Launceston on the 30th anniversary of their club-defining 1995 championship. A dramatic 11-goal second quarter saw both sides trading blows, with Launceston leading by just 3 points at half-time.
Bailey Mitchell gets it back to Husband. In the forward pocket, he snaps. Oh, terrific individual effort by Sam Husband.
But the Bombers hit the Jets after the break and pulled ahead a short time ago. They were up by 42 points. The game's still going. Goals were hard to come by as rain bucketed down in Kingborough, where the Tigers hosted second-place Clarence in a gritty, low-scoring slog. The home side held the Roos to just 1 goal for most of the game, with Clarence only finding a spark of hope late in the third term.
This to bring it back to 3 points. Heading into the last term, no bigger kick in the stage of this contest for Jonty Winch, and he makes it look pretty good off the boots.
But it wasn't enough. The Roos fell just short, going down by 6 points in the end. Kingborough also made a statement in the women's SFL, dominating the same opposition to record a commanding victory, winning by 42 points. It was a story of two halves in the NWFL today as Penguin hosted some one-sided matchups, the home team putting in a dominant performance in the Women's League, denying Ulverston the chance to score until well into the second quarter.
Haynes swings the handball to Saywood, and Saywood slams through their 6. Beautiful football there.
The Ulverston women were kept at bay with just 1 goal as Penguin finished up with 95 points of their own. But it was a different story in the men's division, with the home side going down 14 to 153 against Devonport. Penguin was trailing by a 71-point half-time margin, and while they managed a couple of goals in the third quarter, the visitors' lead was too great to claw back. Broken records came as fast as boundaries in St Kitts as Australia powered ahead to win the T20 series against the West Indies. The hosts piled on an impressive total, but a heavy-hitting Hobart Hurricane had other things in mind.
Setting the pace in the opening over.
A word to describe that stroke: class.
The hosts targeted the shorter boundary down the ground.
Shot of authority.
And the sixes came thick and fast.
Top shot. Clean from Sheho, who finds the middle of the bat.
A change of pace from the Australians couldn't put the brakes on.
And the straight boundaries here are very seductive, but very short.
The openers extracting 31 runs from Glenn Maxwell's 2 overs. No one was safe from the Windies boundary blitz. A strong opening partnership putting 125 runs on the board until Mitch Owens struck.
Now that's in the air. This time it's taken.
West Indies keeper Shea Hope racing ahead to a century off 55.
And that's a moment to savour.
The hosts setting a total of 214, one they looked well equipped to defend.
I think he's short there, Glenn Maxwell. He was late.
Josh Inglis put up a fight.
And straight away, the dominance against pace.
But momentum was hard to find.
Fielder's there, and Fielder takes it. That's an edge, and that's another wicket.
And with Australia on the ropes at 4 for 87, Tim David took control.
Wow, the sound of the bat.
Finding the boundary with ease.
That's another. And another.
Taking 4 in a row off a Gudakesh Mortier over, bringing up a half century in just 16 balls.
Yeah, he gets there. It's a 50. It's the fastest ever T20I half century for Australia.
Mitch Owen joined the boundary jamboree.
Flat and hard and muscle from Owen.
But Tim David held centre stage, untouchable on 90.
Got him. No, put it down. That was a sitter.
And he made them pay.
Oh, my goodness. He continues to amaze here tonight, Tim David.
Helping himself to 11 sixes and 6 fours on the way to Australia's fastest ever T20 century, to seal a 6-wicket win and the series for Australia. Tom Crosby, 7 Tasmanian News.
Back to local sport now, and it was the undefeated South Hobart who took out a dominant win against 4th place Kingborough in round 15 of the NPL. The dreary weather, not enough to stop the hosts from commanding the first half, putting on 3 goals to the Lions' none.
There it is, great area, Morton, go!
The ladder leaders eventually taking out the win 4-1.
Good evening. Hobart just 12 degrees today, 11 in Launceston, 15 in Devonport and 14 in Burnie. Around the grounds are high today, 17 on Flinders Island, 15 at Low Head, St Helens 14, 13 on King Island, Strawn and also at Smithton. Grove and Friendly Beaches 12, 11 in Ouse and 5 degrees in Lyoweeney. A broad band of mid to high level cloud blanketed Tasmania today, bringing 55 millimetres in the gauge at Pinegana. An extensive mid to high level cloud band is seen rotating around a low pressure system just off the coast of Western Victoria. Tomorrow the low pressure system will transition over the state as the high passes over central parts of the country. Winds flowing clockwise around the state, 10 to 20 knots, although initially 20 to 30 knots about the south, with swells increasing to 3.5 metres in southern waters. A strong wind warning is in place for coastal waters between Wineglass Bay to Low Rocky Point, and a moderate warning remains for the North Esk and South Esk River for flooding. Possible showers in Hobart tomorrow 14, partly cloudy in Richmond 15, similar conditions in Ouse 13 to the top. A few showers across the north, Launceston 14, 13 in Devonport and 12 the maximum at Deloraine. Easing showers in Burnie 13, maybe a shower in Strawn 14, although a higher chance of showers in Curry with 13 degrees. St Helens and Swansea both 14 with a shower or two, 15 and partly cloudy over Swansea. Icy and foggy conditions are likely for the next 3 days across the state, with more showers expected on Monday, but predominantly about the West, South and Bass Strait Islands. Showers continue for those areas again into Tuesday, but will likely extend statewide throughout the day. And on Wednesday, more showers on the way, with the exception of Launceston and Burnie. We'll take a quick look now at how conditions will develop across the country tomorrow. A bit of cloud in Sydney, they're aiming for 19. Wet conditions extending to Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, Canberra and Brisbane, 26 and fine in Broome. Rain continues in Hobart, 11 degrees. It's 10 in Launceston and also in Devonport. And I think today, Murph, good weather for ducks.
Oh, and for gumboots too, Kaya. Thanks very much for that. Well, that's all our news for now. I noticed Michael Maney has scratched his name on the roster for tomorrow night. I couldn't get it off, so we'll all look forward to seeing Michael tomorrow night presenting the Bulletin. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your night's viewing. Good night.